Guess what day it is? It's Wednesday. Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? I'm Axel Raven. Welcome to Minor League Fights and Insights, where we are here to talk about the minor league of the Simulation Football League. Good evening, fans and family, community. I'm really excited to have you all here. Yeah, that's right. This is the final show. This is where we're going to be wrapping up. Series 3, representing Season 6 of the SFLM. Really excited. Yep, championship and draft is this weekend. This is not the end, but this is the beginning for all of you out there, players. Season 20 is on the verge. January 12th, if I believe, Thursday night game. We'll be kicking off week 1. So we're less than a month away from that. And then, for those that again may not get drafted, that's all right. You get to go back and spend the minor league off season pumping those the iron, getting even bigger and better beast mode out there come April, when season 7, holy cow, starts. But yeah, episode 11. Really excited about this. We've got a great crew here with me tonight. Daniel, my right hand man, how are you tonight? Good, sir.
Doing pretty good. Can't complain too much. It's Wednesday. I got my Python final exam done today, so I can show up tonight. So, I'm just driving right now.
Excellent. Good to hear. Derek, welcome. We haven't seen you for a little while. Great to have you here again.
It's like he took a trip or something.
1 second. Derek, your video is not coming through. It's like froze. So I'm just going to I need to reload that. Give me 1 second. Then we'll have you do your little cat on the catwalk. Yeah. Here we go.
I'm sure he's sorry about that.
There we go. A little blurry, but here we go. Okay. Focusing in.
Good now? Or is
yes.
It still freezing up?
I think you're good. I see you.
Okay.
Here we go. You can say everything you want.
Come at you live from the Meerkat Den.
Hey. Welcome to the North, eh?
He took a trip and now he's Canadian. I love
my
it.
maple syrup.
So tell me more about that before we go on to our actually no, let's introduce the rest. We'll come right back. Johnny, thanks for joining us tonight.
Glad to be here. How's everyone?
Doing good. And Nicholas, thanks for joining us tonight as well for you.
What's up, everyone?
So, all right. So, Derek, tell me more about this. Daniel's been hyping this up a little bit too. Wanted to know sort of what this is. Tell me more.
Well, we had made a bet at the beginning of last season that the most interceptions and the person that had least interceptions would have to wear some sort of outfit from the other person's country. So
okay.
I lost.
by one or
I think 2.
Okay. So Daniel
I'm Canadian for the night.
Okay, he had to rub it in with 2.
Yeah,
but I mean, I hope the maple syrup doesn't go straight to your head.
Part of that is he was leading the entire season until the last 2 games.
Okay,
correct.
That's exciting. I love the little things. Other people have little bets with profile pictures and other things. But good camaraderie. Good. So did you have to go buy that shirt itself for?
I did. I bought this shirt and the hat.
Okay, yep. Awesome. I mean, from Minnesota, it'll come in handy.
Oh, the hat will definitely come in handy. I mean, and saying sorry, I'm pretty sure I know plenty of Minnesotans that say sorry too. So
exactly. All we need to do is get a clip of you drinking the maple syrup and send it to Mark Mello afterwards.
Cool. Is it good maple syrup or is it just like
this is real maple syrup?
Oh, good. I'm sure Daniel would appreciate that. You're keeping the economy going for Canada.
Doing us proud.
Yes. All right, let's see. So, we've got our panel here tonight. We had a great set of games to watch on Saturday night. We saw Madison coming into San Jose. It started off a little slow for both sides, and it seemed like both were playing different than they typically were. And then Madison sort of started to steal the run away with the game a little bit. Daniel, what was your take on how this game played out?
Before we do that, I want to get Nicholas's take
Yeah,
on how the
okay,
game
let's
played
do
out.
that. That's a good San Jose
Yeah.
alum, Nicholas.
You don't want me
How
to
did that
copy.
how did it go for you? What was the
He doesn't.
what was the experience like for you as well?
He doesn't want me to copy his take. I get it. I get
Oh, well, no, I
it.
want your take so I can copy
Oh.
it.
No, it was a pretty good game. I mean, San Jose. I think we got away from the run. I know we weren't too successful at the run to begin with, but I think we kind of got away from it too much. I believe Blanco threw more passes by the half than he did any other game in a total game. So we were kind of out of our comfort zone. So if Madison was going to take advantage of us, it was probably the night to do it. Um, but I mean, I kind of in the back of my head, I did want to see that Madison versus Adams game again because it was so good, and I wanted to see the tiebreaker. So it wasn't too disappointing for me, but it was fun to play in the game, and I wish we would have made it further, but it was a really good game to watch.
And Daniel?
Well, I'll take different takes. I won't take Nicholas's thing. What I saw a lot from the San Jose offense though was they were trying to do the little, almost like a screen pass, but not really like a out route to JZ Bacon, which is typically we see do okay. But Madison seemed to have a fairly good idea how to play against it this time around. The big thing for Madison is they just played a full game, top to bottom. Blanco on San Jose is a rookie. He doesn't have a whole lot of stats under him. Switch we know is proven to be good. Prince Wonder I think had a pretty good game as well going into that. I Madison just played a better overall game. Nothing to sink your hat or complain about with San Jose. They played a tremendous game. They had a hell of a season. It was good for them to make it this far. Some probably didn't even think they were going to make it this far with the way they had a rookie quarterback and they had some pieces in defense that they were working with towards and hoping to be good. So it was good to see overall.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say San Jose did not play a poor game. I think the thing that did really Madison's defensive backfield really just sort of stepped up. There were a couple of turnovers that I think JT Jackson had one. I don't know if Lama came down with one eventually, but really I think that was one of the big game differences. And again, yeah, Blanco didn't in general, other than those interceptions, was moving the ball pretty well for not having done so much throughout the season. But yeah, JZ Bacon seemed to just was not the same powerhouse that he had previously been. So that's yeah.
Oh,
So
actually, can I
yeah,
give two shout outs that I forgot about? So
absolutely.
Michael Brown played amazing again. So his however he's building his character is really good, and I was really surprised by that because we have such a good linebacking core. So you want to give credit to Michael Brown. Also, I think one of the more underrated wide receivers, Terrell Cooper. I think having a fresh quarterback, Blanco, kind of hurt him a little bit, but I think he might. I don't see him in a lot of like first rounds of mock drafts, and I think he should be there just because I think he's that good, and he kind of teared down a little bit because of the quarterback. No shade to Blanco, he was fresh, but I think Cooper is kind of a step above what people are projecting him to be.
And actually, I wonder if I remember. So again, I rewatched the games earlier today, and it sounded like um, Dags was calling him Coop, and I think he might be on Mexico City's as a two-way player.
Oh, is he? I didn't
So
even realize that.
that would be why he's not listed in the round one mock draft. So
That makes sense.
but yeah, making him doing it well, making some of a name up for himself out there, doing the best that he can, and but yeah, I heard his name called a bit out there, and um, I again, no shade on either team. They both teams deserve to be there. San Jose even last week claiming that number 2 spot over Madison. There's nothing to walk away hanging your head about for this season for either of these teams. Madison's just the one that sort of again, Haynes is a beast, and with the way Switch has been playing, hard to beat. And then you add, like you said, Michael Brown the last 2 weeks has been playing beyond where his player had been previously, and it seems like Madison's realizing that and leaning into that aspect. And how do you game plan for that when you haven't seen it before? So yeah, cool. All right, that then we move on to Ottawa at Albuquerque. This one was a hard one to watch. Yeah, I mean, Albuquerque sort of started to run away with it. I think it was either 14-0 or 21-0 at the half. I think it was 14-0 at the half. Um, Lakeman just not able to the not able to connect on the passes, and again, Samus was tough, hard running for him in the first half. Started picking up some steam in the second, but just not able to finish out drives, not able to get down the field close enough to like even to like the 37 where they can't kick a field goal kind of thing. And I'd say the special teams on both sides was doing a great job in pinning each other deep. That was one thing I noticed during that game. Daniel, we'll start with you then. How did you think this game played out? Was this a surprise? Is this, was there something that was this sort of expected?
Well, I'm gonna. I love my boy Robert Cherry, but I need to have a little talk. The curl routes just doesn't work, man. The curl route on offense just doesn't work.
It's
But I
grinding
mean,
your gears.
uh, the- it it was hard to watch. Like we were talking about how Madison and San Jose both played well. This was a bad offensive display, and we've seen how good Lakeman can play. We've seen him in the All-Star game; he was lighting it up, or the Prospect Bowl, we should say.
Yeah.
He was lighting it up on offense, and this one was really hard to watch. On the other side of the fence, I think Josh Slapp is on a mission to try and get drafted this season, no matter what happens. Ever since we got no one said his name, and he went on Twitter saying, "Get ready, watch me play. Get ready to see me play." He's been lighting it up. He's like, you wouldn't even think this guy's like a first year rookie going out, right? The way he's running people over, going through people, he's really proven himself that he can hang with the best.
Yeah, and Nicholas, what are your thoughts on how this game played out?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the slap. I think he's been running really well all year, and I think he had 96 with 2 touchdowns again. Um, for Ottawa, that was kind of rough. They had an anemic offense all around, so they weren't really running well. So that's not going to open up anything for Lakeman. And then like Daniel brought up, the play calling might not have been that great because they're doing a lot of curl routes, so they kind of just couldn't get anything going. Um, but Patak had another good game, and Adobe and Slap just they were their normal great players. So it was a decent game. It was a little boring, but just the total opposite of their last game that the Adams played, because that was the most riveting game I've ever watched. It was a little weird to see the comparison, but um, but I mean, Ottawa did a good job all year. They just had a bad game.
So that gives us the two that will be playing this Friday. So the championship, we're seeing the number 3 Madison Lynx coming into Albuquerque. Will have the hometown advantage, playing in, I believe it's Fatality Field at Arizona's stadium, which is really exciting. They just met in week 8 last Monday. Albuquerque able to take that one away in overtime. They also met week 1, and that one was given to Madison. Again, Madison coming out of the gate, really surprising people with what they're able to do with their roster, which was fairly fresh at the time. And it seems like they're sort of coming in their own right a little bit here too as the season progresses. Maybe a lack of certain two-way players, they're able to progress and each week getting better and better, and that might be evidence of them continuing to prove themselves throughout this. I'll pass it over to Derek and Johnny. Do you have any? Is this a surprise? Coming in and seeing Madison and Albuquerque. I mean, Albuquerque last season, minor leagues were the winners, overcoming Ottawa last season. I think a really close game. One of the better games of the year. Even the SFLM was the championship last season. Um, is this a surprise that Albuquerque is there? Is it a surprise that Madison, who last season was on the bottom of the tier? Tell us a little bit more what your thoughts are about this matchup.
Um, honestly, pretty sure at the beginning of the season, I looked at Madison and I thought they had a good chance just because they didn't have a ton of two-way players, and
Mm.
and we saw that last year, where teams that didn't have a lot of two-way players just got better and better and better. Um, but interesting fact about about these teams, the two games they played already. Patak and Thumper combined for 129 pass attempts, or no, 229. Sorry,
Wow.
229 pass attempts in those two games.
That's over 100 each. That's 50 per person per player. Over 50 each. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. So are you expecting that this might be a I mean, we already know that Madison in general has historically this season not gone with that much of the run they're starting to do now. Are you thinking, are you alluding that this might be a high flying attack from both teams?
I think it will, but I also think that whichever team can get a run game going of some kind is the one that's probably going to win.
Balance is key. That will win the game. Johnny, your thoughts on this matchup?
I'm not surprised to see both of them here. Albuquerque, I'm not surprised at all. Madison, a little bit. They had a great season though. Half the battle is just getting into the playoffs, and then you never know what can happen. But both of these teams deserve to be there. When they played each other last, I think Albuquerque pulled it out 34-31, and it was like Derek said, it was a shootout. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. But no, I guess all in all, I'm not surprised to see either one of them here. They both had a great season.
Yeah, it's interesting. That overtime game was, I think it went deep into overtime, like even like 3 or 4 minutes left in that 11-minute quarter. That it was still a bit of a back and forth, so evenly matched. Again, even at the time that Michael Brown again, I think had started picking up some of that pace in week 8. So I wonder if we're in store for another overtime, whether that's Ye Verity or is it Juniper Belson might be the kicker on Madison. Um, a win one way or the other by 3 or something. Nicholas, what are your thoughts on this game?
I love this matchup. This is the one I was kind of looking forward to, so to see the tiebreaker. Now, the thing is with Madison though, so Madison won the first game, and Ty Patak had probably one of the worst games he's ever had. So we're not banking on him doing that again. So that brings us to week 8, where it was a very close game. Uh, Madison, however, was very one-dimensional for the first 3/4 of the year, but now they have a running game. So Thumper doesn't have to like carry the offense as much as he used to. He doesn't have to throw 300 times a game. So this should be a pretty good game. I'm thinking it's going to be another shootout, but it's going to be a very balanced game with the running and stuff. But I think it's going to be very close. It's going to be similar to last game, which gets me excited because that was one of my favorite games I've ever seen. But if I had to guess, um, I would say that's gonna be a tough one. I would say Albuquerque might have the edge.
Gotcha. And Daniel, your thoughts on this game? Do you agree? Do you think another team might have an edge, or what kind of game do you think this might be?
Well, I'll answer that, but I'll go back to at the start of the season because remember fondly how we went over each team and each roster, and even Raccoon himself, Michael Prococo's like, "Look at our team. We're missing so many pieces. We got nothing. We're losing our corner. Our corner just left." And he even had doubt of how he was going to do this season. And the way he put together a team, the way he coached the team, the way he brought the team together, I honestly, seeing the roster week 1 to now, I wouldn't have put Madison here. I would not have put Madison there. So the way he's made his team, the way he played his team, the way he worked his team with all the new pieces in the system to get them to where they want to go, that's a big kudos there. For the game itself, if you look at both scores, the winning team has 34 points. That could be the nail right there. Whoever can get the 34 might win this game. And we saw how close it was week 8 meeting. I think we're having another week 8 type meeting. I think both teams know what the other's going to do, and we're going to have some gamesmanship, right? We're going to see people try and change things up to try and play against what they know as defense. Now, will that make it a high scoring affair? Will that make it low scoring? Who knows? It will make it a chaos driven game, and I'm going to love every bit of it. I'm going to edge a bit to Albuquerque only because they have probably the best safety in the minor leagues right now as the gold Dante Grip.
That's interesting. I mean, so yeah, like you said, there's one game that they played just on Saturday, but then before that they had already scouted each other, and so they're gonna know what, not exactly what each other is doing, but they're gonna need to bring something different to the table than what they brought on week 8, and it's gonna be interesting to see who's going to bring the thing that's going to make that, because that's going to change the game, right? You don't want to be the necessarily the exact same team that you brought in week 8. You're not going to play the same thing that you played last week, but maybe some hybrid with a little bit of spice or flavor. The championship is such a big thing. It's going to be you want to bring your best. This is the game to end all games for this season, right? And like you said, Daniel, give big kudos to both Michael Prococo and their coaching staff. They're both on offense and defense. They've been putting in a lot of work. Same thing for Albuquerque. They're seeing Swole, Jason Williams in the game day chats, as things are going, and like both being supportive, but also giving it their all in there supporting their team, which is great to see. There's so much energy and hype behind these two teams. I'm excited to see the championship itself. So that championship is going to be Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Definitely make sure that you come watch. That's 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central. Earlier game, and
8
that really
o'clock Newfoundland time.
there you go. It might even be Saturday by the time you get to watch it. No, I'm just kidding. But after that, so that's one big event. That's Friday night. That's sort of the intro to what will be a very busy SFLM weekend this weekend, because right after this game, the very next day, that next evening, is the season 20 draft is coming up, which is really exciting. This week we've seen now that actually officially Cam, before this we started the show, he put out the official order, and as of 5 p.m. I think Central or Eastern, rosters were locked today, so you can go out there and see exactly the spots. They're not changing before the draft. This is sort of the roster lock beforehand. It's been nice this week seeing the different mock drafts, seeing people who are even new to mock drafts trying to hypothesize and hype each other up and guess, and those that are being guessed. It looked like Terrell Sutherland was talking about it. I'm excited seeing all these guesses, uncertain of who I'm sure he knows exactly who they're going after for that number one pick. I'm excited to see. We'll start with you, Nicholas. How do you feel heading into this draft, into this weekend? I saw your message earlier as well, in player content, and things. Curious on how do you as a player wrap up your season, and or move into the draft time and into next season.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty excited. I mean, that's kind of what we're in the minors for, is to potentially get drafted. I myself, I did post in player content that I would prefer to stay in the minors one more year, because I actually think, based on my build, I might be better off as a free safety, and
Hmm.
there's no movement to free safety in the draft this year.
He's taking my job. I see how
So
it is.
yeah, so, I think it's just I didn't think height mattered as much, and I think free safety, it might be a little more lenient in that. But yeah, I think everyone's pretty excited. I mean, everyone's doing a lot of mock drafts, um, and I don't know. We're trying to decide who. I mean, we're basing it off of you know what the skills are, but also who people tend to chat with the most, and a lot of people think TJ is going to go pretty high. I think the one surprise I saw, um, in a lot of the mocks, was in fullback. I saw Bomber going ahead of Van Dam, which I obviously have a bias on that, because I played with Van Dam. Might be because Bomber talks a lot more and people get to know him a little bit better. Um, but yeah, it's kind of fun to see the different mocks come out and we get all excited about it. I mean, that's the point. We're playing down in minors to eventually get into the pros. So
Yeah. Very cool. And so, yeah, Derek, Daniel, Johnny, I know you guys, we've all been there. Some, just 2 seasons ago. Daniel and I 3 seasons ago. Um,
Some people have
Daniel.
been there far too long.
um, so again, I recommend, there's going to be the day of, Saturday, come 6 p.m. Central or Eastern, 30 minutes before the draft starts or something like that. Cam will post like a link to the green room. Tell me more, Daniel and Derek. I know you guys had a special connection during the green room, Derek, for your draft. Tell me a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
I loved it. It was the first time I really got to see Johnny. Him and I kind of talked a little bit before, and I hadn't seen him yet, so that was kind of cool. And then I got to talk to people that I hadn't even talked to before. I was the second to last person in the draft in the green room, so I stuck around. Um, the one things I will say is that mock drafts are fun. They're cool to do, cool to see, but don't take too much stock in them. I mean, you see guys that they say they're going first round and then they don't even get drafted, or guys that aren't even in mock drafts and they get drafted first round. So if your name's not in a first round mock draft, don't worry about it. Just keep reaching out to GMs and just keep pushing it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend the green room and recommend somebody like Daniel to hang out in their DMs and be upset when you don't get drafted the first and second round. So
My DMs are always open if people need to talk.
Absolutely. Johnny, what was your experience like too? I know you've gone through a couple of them. Tell me about that, what that experience was like for you. Um, you know, again, there's with about what I think we're maybe now at 70, less than 70, 65 actual spots open in the SF the pros right now. And over 100 SFLM players. There's going to be close to half that aren't going to be picked this season. What was that like for you going through that first time, for you?
Yeah, so both times I went through it were pretty nerve wracking. The first time though, for sure, with limited spots similar to this season, you start getting a little more anxious, a little more nervous because you really don't know how it's going to play out. Because there's other players in your position that are just as capable as you are. So you're trying to make that last ditch effort to talk to GMs and owners and kind of get your name out there. That first time I was involved, I didn't get drafted. It was a little disappointing, but it ended up being okay. I had to kind of reflect as to how I was in the league and um, how much activity I put into it. And so it really made me a better player. And so staying in the minors if you don't get drafted is not an awful thing. It worked out for me just fine. Um, so it's not the end of the world if you don't get drafted. Because again, this draft will be very interesting. A lot different than last season. Last season with the expansion, there were so many players drafted. So this one will be really interesting to see how the first and second round play out. Going into the second one, like Derek had said, that was when I had seen him and Angela for the first time. And now look at where we're at. I've actually spoken to a few minors and kind of urged them to, hey, if you have the opportunity, join into the green room because it's just a good time. You build relationships, you meet people, and these are the players that throughout your SFL career you'll probably stay friends with because you built that bond together, during that time. So again, if anybody can, it's a good time. But yeah, this draft will be very interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
Yeah,
I
and
I look back at 2 years ago with Ernest and
Mm-hmm.
him being the last. Who if he hadn't been in the green room, who knows if he would have gotten drafted? I mean, people
Very
saw
true.
his excitement, they saw his passion for it, and I think that's a big reason why he got drafted in the first place.
and
For
and
sure.
he's come out since then too, learning scouting and being like a integral part of both Sioux Falls when he was there and now Indianapolis. It's just an amazing person, really active. So again, just lean into it, whether or not I think that's the thing, that's the fun part of this too, is it's just the camaraderie that's being built, and like you said, Johnny, going through the shared experience and sort of like you've been through it. Whether you're on the same team or not, you also remember the people that you came up with in your season, right? And the people that you've come with. You'll always remember, the season 6, minor leagues. And I've seen people talk about like the season 6 is the best season so far, and that's very well could be true, but it also feels like the season that you play in is always going to be the best season for you, and I think that's awesome. Daniel, do you have any tips or anything as we inch closer to it? Things to think, highlights, things to think about or watch for during the draft itself. They tend to be long. You've been part of them before. Um, Tell us a little bit about what that experience is like. If anybody hasn't watched or gone back and rewatched, and actually, tomorrow might be a great time to go rewatch last season's draft of the season before. But
Yeah, so I was actually on the draft panel round 3, I believe, on Derek's draft. So he was in my DMs all the time talking, and I was like, "Don't worry, I'm sure you're gonna go somewhere." Surprise, lone surprise! I go onto the draft panel. We do our drafting. It's super long, guys. Even though it says round just 1 round and 2 rounds, it's still gonna be a long round. Last time, from my experience, it was about 2.5 hours, I believe, the draft analysis was when we did the whole show round 3 on. So it's probably gonna be a little short, but it's gonna be around the same time. The biggest things I can tell you right now is be ready for the call. Have your Discord open, have your phone near you, expect to get called and be there when you do. I've seen people not get drafted because they don't answer the phone when their GMs or the owners call them and say, "Hey, we want to draft you." They'll If you're not ready, they'll move you to the side and go get someone else. That's the biggest thing I can take away. Go to the green room, make connections, make relationships, make communications. Green room is a great time. But yeah, make sure you're ready. And most importantly, if you don't get drafted round 1, don't give up. Make your last little effort. Go into a few other owners' talks that may need you in a position. Show yourself off. Tell them, hey, I would like to be part of this team. Say why. Even if before round 2, like go up to the next day or something, as my headset goes down. Do that and do what you can to try and get drafted, because that's the best way I can say do it. Make the effort to get drafted, even if you don't. You made that connection with the owner or the GM or something forward. You making a connection with a team beforehand that can help you into the next season.
And that's what I did after the first round and the second round. The next day of draft, I messaged all the GMs I talked to saying, "Hey, good luck today," and just kind of letting them know that, hey, I'm still here. you know, yeah,
I
and
wonder who gave you that advice, Derek.
one thing that I will point out to anyone who's never watched an SFL draft is that it's not going to be like an NFL draft. There's going to be kickers drafted early. There's going to be positions that you wouldn't expect to get drafted early in a normal football draft.
yeah,
Definitely. And also, with that said, your build can always be worked on. Your personality, people will see right through if you're trying to fake. Be yourself. Don't try to live up to someone else's expectation of you. Be yourself. Be personal. Show who you are. That will get you drafted more times than not in your build.
I would add that don't take not being drafted as a reflection of who you are. you know, don't try to internalize it. It is just the situation. Come back bigger, stronger the next time. Again, it just might be wasn't meant to be. And things sort of, I like to think that things happen for a reason, and they sort of, and or if you get drafted by a team, you're like, I don't know if I really am engaged with that. That's this is the one time that the teams have the power. After that first season, after you're drafted, then it's up to you. You get to go free agent, do whatever you want, make the choices, make the friends, make the connections, and try to get on the teams that you want to be on. But this is the time that the team has the power to be able to pick you, to pick, they think you're going to fill a spot. That could be a cultural spot for them, it could be a spot on the field, it could be a combination of both. This is their time to, they've got the 6 months, the season starts soon, and then you have the off season. This is their time to prove they're the team for you. They're taking an investment on you for the, at least, again, that's the reason there's only season contracts, because if you're not a fan of after you're on there, that's up to you to make that decision after the fact. But the draft is the one time that this is sort of the team's time to fill in the spots that they need in order to have a successful season come season 20. 3.5 weeks away pretty much. And make the best of it. I know it's an interesting, it's a fun time to be out there. You're gonna make some friends. You're gonna try try your best and make the best of it. If it's not a place that's not for you, but make try, give it your all. Ask them, what can I do, what can I help with. This is sort of how I want to see this. They could take initiative, try to take control once you're on there. But this should be a fun time. Likely you've heard from others, from your certain GMs you might be in contact with, if they might be wanting to pick you. Don't be offended if they end up going a different way, because again, these GMs have plan A's through plan Z's, and if based on, it's such a dynamic thing that based on what people are picking before you, they might end up feeling like they need to go a different way. So don't be offended either. They're not trying to burn bridges per se. And people shouldn't be promising, specifically, we'll try to take you in this, or we're hoping to, and again, they're just plan A or plan B, plan C. But there's so much dynamicness in the draft itself. So give a little grace both ways, and have fun with it. Lean into it. Make that first year, for those that get drafted, giving it your all, and having fun, and making new connections, just like you did, when you joined your minor league team. So just a couple things, after the draft, it also happens really fast. Correct me if I'm wrong, like Derek, Johnny, Daniel, when you're drafted, sometimes it might be literally like minutes that all of a sudden your SFLM and like Madison Lynx or Tacoma Grizzlies role is gone. Your locker room is gone. You now have no longer access to the minor league gen chat, and you're in the locker room, of the team that was just drafting you. So be prepared for that, and that's another reason why I think the green room is so valuable, to be able to be there in commune with the people that you're comfortable with, that you've been sort of familiar, and you've been sort of going through this for the last number of months. So yeah.
It's super quick, yeah. Because I
It's
remember
it's
not even
very
saying goodbye in Tacoma, and I was gone out of the locker room.
I wasn't, for
Yeah.
some reason, it took like a half hour for me. I don't know
Really?
why. I just
oh
stuck,
no,
stuck
it
around.
was minutes. It was just like boom, boom. Here's your new life.
Derek, that might be
It-
because what was the thing? They didn't even recognize you in the free agency either. What
Yeah,
was like
that's
I
true.
yeah,
They didn't
right.
know that you got picked or something.
No, I
the
mean,
Candy Man? They had to say it 3 times or something, right?
the one thing I'll say too is that if you're in a minor league locker room and guys are going before you, I saw a lot of it when I got drafted, and I saw it after. Obviously, I took a half hour for me to leave. Is that guys start to get bitter about it? Try not to. I mean, you're gonna see guys go left and right, and there's gonna be some jealousy of why wasn't me picked. But just try to keep the best attitude you can for it, because your time will come eventually, and even if it's not that year, it'll be the next year. And the one thing I'll say too, to piggyback off what you said, Axel, is that if teams come and approach you and it's a team that you don't really want to be on that bad, don't don't try to shut them down. Don't try to sabotage it, because I know myself, Johnny, and I know you, Axel, too. All went to a team, drafted to a team, and we said this isn't the team for us, and we left the next year. And it's as easy as that. So you're not stuck.
You don't know how a team acts in the pros until you get there. So you don't know for sure. It could be like the dream team spot that you really want to go to, but you don't know how they act in the locker room or how they'll act overall, and it might not gel with how you act, and that it happens. Things like that happens. Uh, you just do your best, and then if you don't like the spot you're to, you make the plans to try and see if where else you might go in free agency the following season. one season plans are that for a reason. It's beautiful that we don't have to stay in our place for seasons on seasons on seasons before we get out.
Is that a hint, Daniel?
Oh yeah, I'm leaving. See ya. I'm gone.
No, and it may seem like like a season is such a long time, but honestly, once that season starts, and again, we're less than a month away from season 20 starting. That's gonna fly by, and before you know it, it's gonna be off season again, and then off season feels like it drags on. Um, but then you've got the minor league to have fun with and stuff. So, anyways, just it's gonna be a lot of fun, and just wanted to remind you, lean into it, lean into the funness of it. And I've seen this already, you know, for months actually in the SFLM Gen Chat, the idea of just simply seeing each other and supporting each other. I've seen people supporting each other, building out, their minor league card, the like player cards and other things, which has been awesome. And like the sharing of tips and ideas of how people are making their videos and making videos for their team or teammates and that kind of thing, which is I'm loving seeing. And I love the community, the social learning aspect too, of people learning from each other, how to be better and how to move up and move in, which has always been a huge. I'm always a huge fan of that sort of thing. Um, any
Yeah,
final words?
Make your videos for the draft.
Yep. Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool to see.
There's a lot of people posting them already in the player content, which is great to see. Really getting out there, and things. So, any final
Yeah, because
words on the draft?
um other than that, yeah, get your highlights in, because it's really cool. Because if for people that haven't seen the draft, while they're talking about you, once the draft comes through, Cam shows your video and shows your highlights, and it's such a it's so much more of like an NFL draft experience to see the whole highlights of you in the minors and stuff.
And that's the other thing too. Like if you are on camera in the green room, they'll usually jump right to you, and you're able to see your video out there, for all to see, which is really exciting. Trying to get Nicholas back in there.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Sure why it's not taken.
Oh, I have something we were talking about in the minors too. Because some people might not see this. So we have a lot of tips for the minor leaguers. I think we wanted to have one tip in reverse. So we see a lot of like ownership in GMs and such. They'll act as it's an achievement if you don't have to draft. And I think that sounds really cool unless you're in the minors. So I think a lot of minor leaguers will look at that as kind of off-putting because the whole thing is getting fresh faces in, growing the league. So I think it's a little strange to brag that you're not drafting. So maybe just as a learning experience, that's how a lot of minor leaguers will see that it's kind of off-putting to brag that you're not drafting, because we see it as, well, why is that beneficial to you? Like, wouldn't you want some of us on our team? So I think just kind of like tips the other way, going the other way, because I think a lot of us looked at it like that, of like, well, why would you brag that way about that? But that's just a tip I would have in the other direction.
Sure. Appreciate that. As a team that is not drafting, we had one free agent, acquisition who came on as our head coach, and the rest of our team decided, hey, we like it here. We want to re up. We are enjoying, which for us is evidence of a culture we're trying to build, right? That people are not interested in leaving, that they really enjoy what we're both on the field and off the field, and so for us, again, trying not to brag that we don't have to, but looking at keeping a group together, is a good way to what is it, move forward, into the next season, as knowing who you have got, is a value for us. For others, it has been like, hey, we're filling in spots by I got my friend to join, and they're going to be coming in as an undrafted free agent at base copper. I'm not the hugest fan of that. I'd rather myself go to the draft personally, and find somebody at that position. So for me, that for me leaves a little bad taste in my mouth. I agree that I'd rather see someone who's put in their time, in the minor league, have their come up and their glow up. I think it's what it's called. I think what the youngins are calling it. Up into the pros. So I think again there are teams that have done that, and even last season there were teams that had done a lot of that. With the expansion teams and things, and trying to opt not to draft and things. So I agree. I think it's an interesting dynamic, and that's I would hate.
I think it's fine not to draft, and it makes it's a good look for a team to not draft because you're holding on to your players. I think I joked with Robert Trey. I says, "Hey, if you ever own a team, just say you're upset that you can't draft, and you feel bad that you can't draft because there's minor leaguers out there, and it's just if they hear that, it's if you think about it, if you hear that, oh, it's awesome that we don't have to draft. A minor league is gonna be like, well, why would they say that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great thing too. What you just said, that perspective of because honestly, I'd love to have more. Like, I'd love if there was roster expansion. We could add more people, add more players, because I feel like the more the merrier. And I feel like there's people that even yourself, like if right now we've got 60 Bs. That's all that we need on the field right now. But if there was I wish there was be able to bring people that are solid, cultural, personalities, and can contribute on the field, whether that's an O lineman or an additional linebacker or a punter or other position, right, or a second back. I think I'd love to have more people on the team, and I'd love to be able to provide a spot. I think that I really enjoyed the 5 individuals that we drafted this last season. I'm really appreciative of them being on the team, and they've been able to contribute so well, both again to the personality and the culture of our team, and making a contribution on the field and stuff. So I appreciate that view, and I think I hope teams take it to heart. The what they're being, that it is too bad that you're not able to draft, and that it's a both a positive and a negative, a yin and yang kind of thing. So yeah, I appreciate that perspective.
I am super appreciative of everyone except this Banks character, who came over in free agency. He's a bit of a lame guy, but
You just have to get that little jab in
I haven't jabbed him all season. I need
Yeah.
to give him one.
I'm just waiting to see, since it's our last episode, what really grinds your gears.
Well, I told you about the Ottawa offense.
Okay, there we go.
You know what? You want to say something else that really grinds my
Here we go.
You really want to go right off the chest?
Yeah, here we go.
You want me to say it with my chest, maybe? So what? No, we're not gonna go into negativity on the last show. We're not gonna do that. I'm gonna go talk about something that Switch asked. I think he got answered in the chat, but he asked if an owner doesn't respond or a GM doesn't respond to you, what do you do? And that is, you pick up and you go to the next guy you want to try and get to. You go to the next team and you go to the next team. You try and get yourself in there as much as possible. But for the draft, enjoy the moment. For some of us, it'll be a once in a lifetime situation where you actually get to experience the draft, get picked, be part of a team, move forward like it's the NFL, but it's not. But it's the experience is still the same. So what I really want you guys to do is really enjoy the weekend. Stress will come, it'll go in waves, but it's an experience that you'll never forget when it does happen. I know I still remember mine when I thought I wasn't getting drafted, and I was in Axel's DM saying, "I'm not getting drafted, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm not getting drafted.
And then it
I wish I
happened.
was up there with you." And then Tulsa, literally in the round, maybe 5 minutes. I was talking to him Friday, and round 2 was Saturday, I believe. I was talking to him Friday, saying, "Yeah, I'm hopeful. Congratulations for getting your pick. I hope I go somewhere, but congratulations for getting picked." He's like, "I'm sure you're going somewhere." Dion was saying, "I'm sure you go somewhere." 5 minutes before I got drafted, he calls me saying, "Hey, we're picking you. We're picking you right now." I'm like, "Oh my god," because I didn't have a definitive answer going into this my season. So be out there, do your work, and I was a character pick. I wasn't the best free safety in my class by far. I was actually one of the worst because I came in a little later than everybody else. But people will pick you based on character more often than your build. So just be yourself, show how good of a character you can be, and you will get to a team eventually. If not this season, then the next.
Why'd they pick you then, Daniel? Daniel.
Because I'm a team player, damn it.
Cool.
No, I will say if a GM doesn't respond back to you, which grinds my gears, let me tell you. But just look at it as there's going to be a time, I guarantee you, where somebody that does something like that is going to come to you and say, "Hey, you want to come join the team?" And you can go, "Remember that one time that you didn't respond back to me?" So yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing is building relationships, and there's a lot of relationships that I've built that I know that if something ever happened to the legend for some reason, there's people I could talk to.
Yeah, I was actually going to say it's exactly what Derek just mentioned. But look at it, whether being from the background of not getting drafted and drafted, look at it as a like a networking experience because the season I didn't get drafted, I met and built relationships with GMs and owners that maybe now I'm thinking I don't know why I ever even spoke to them. They didn't pick me, but who knows down the line whether that could come in handy. So just talk to everybody you can, build relationships.
Mm-hmm. And one thing to think about too is so you might have 28 teams. That's all the teams in the majors that you could be talking to. That right, 28 conversations going on. These GMs again with 100 plus minor league players, there's 100 conversations they could be having. Plus, before this, there's re-signing, so they're talking to their players about do they want to re-sign, and then there's free agency, trying to get players maybe to come over to their. So they have like hundreds of DMs and hundreds of things. So it may just be that they just did not have time. It slipped through the cracks, didn't see it, that kind of thing. So try not to take too much offense to it too. So just understand everybody's trying their best for what they need for the team that they have, and you're trying to represent yourself the best, and they're trying to do the same thing for their team. So try again, giving grace where it's needed, and trying not to take things too personally and have fun with the whole experience. So, any final words on the draft? I feel like we've gotten some good stuff out there. All right. Well, that brings up this little slide here. So this is just a big thank you. We're all proud of you. You guys have successfully, as of tomorrow, not tomorrow, Friday night, the season will be done. I'm really excited about that. You guys have put in your work. You guys have weekly progressed yourself, and all of that. I'm really excited for how you all have grown as a community, for how you've grown as individuals, as teams, how you've come together, faced advertisement, what are the challenges, how you've overcome challenges, how you've, been having grace under fire, all that kind of stuff. I'm really excited for all of you and to see you all thrive at that next level again, whether that's this season or next season, or in seasons to come. And I also just want to give a heartfelt thank you all for your support. This show is nothing without you all, the viewers, and it is nothing without you four and others that have been joining on here as the panels and co-hosts and supportive of all of this. Just simply having these conversations, to try to sort of get you all building of a community. Share some of the knowledge that we've learned over the seasons, and giving you some connections to help you all move into being better players, better stewards of the SFL, and that kind of thing. So I just want to say thank you all for that, and that we're so proud of who you are and who you've become, and are excited to see who you all become. The next Reggie Streeter, the next Marcus Dunhill, the next Johnny Reno, the next Daniel and Derek, the double D's in the backfield there, D&D. Um, and I wanted to make a little announcement. I've shared this with privately in a couple different private channels, and also want to make a sort of a call out to you all, that tonight will be my final time hosting and producing the show. So I want to say a thank you all to all of you out there for doing that. 3 seasons in, it's been fun. just my time to step away and be able to focus on ownership and coaching and other things that come with owning a team and other opportunities that I've had to sort of set aside in order to do the show. But in the meantime, I want, I'd love for the show not to die. And so if someone out there is interested in stepping into hosting or co-hosting with other people or producing, learning how to do this, Daniel and I, when we first started this, we were halfway through our rookie pro season. Sorry, getting emotional. I'm an emotional person. We were halfway through our rookie season. Thought, hey, we just came from the minors. I'd love to be able to give back to them. So we're like, hey, let's try this out. I know Daniel, you previously have you had done some game streaming on Twitch and things. I had never done anything like this, but I know how to do graphics. I opened up. We tried doing it in OBS. OBS didn't work for me. I'm using Twitch Studio. That's a free thing. I was able to download that makes a direct connection to Twitch, and I can hit stream and it streams. So I didn't know how to do this. I learned how to do it. So if anybody's interested in sort of wanting to join or step into this spot, the next SFLM season starts in April. So come March, April, or if you're interested, feel free to reach out and we can start transitioning things. And I'd love to see this community continue to thrive. I just it takes a lot of work to put together all the stuff and gather interviews and all the graphics and do all of that. So there's parts of it that I love, parts of it that is tough and takes away from my family and other time. But so I want to give, this has been all for you. Want to make sure that and whether or not if it's this or if it's some other like audio only podcast or whatever, I'd love to see more content from SFLMers or for SFLM players. Come next season 7 of SFLM, giving back to those that are that if you get drafted, giving back to those in the minor leagues. If you don't get drafted, hey, you're in the minor leagues. It'd be great. I've always wanted this to be like the for the minors, by the minors kind of thing. I love having Nicholas here, giving that the actual player perspective, and interviewing the different players and things. But just wanted to share this announcement with you guys. It's been great. I've loved every single minute of the ride, and met so many people through all of this. So I really appreciate all of that. But yeah, that's that. So but yeah, celebrate. We're guys are almost done, and the season is almost all the way. So
I think we need a round of applause for Axel for doing this for
We
3
do.
years.
thanks. And,
Absolutely.
anyways, yeah, thank you everybody. It's been fun. But yeah, hopefully, if you're interested, reach out. Grassroots it. That's all that list was to begin with. If you go back to season 1, episode 3, because I didn't even know how to record episode 1 and 2 at the time. So, but yeah, if you are interested, we can always transfer, this Twitch account over so that it's more show focused and not Axel SFL or Axel or even SFL. Similar with YouTube, we can always do the logistics of handoff and other things too. But if anybody's interested in sort of stepping up to see this thing keep going, that would be awesome. Yeah, cool. All
And
right.
guys, this happened off me and Axel just talking one day, saying the minor leagues deserve a chance, a community, and someone to talk to. So if we can do it, fumbling around season 1, not knowing what we're doing, anybody else can do it. So guys, take the chance, make your connections. I want to met Derek. I want to met Nicholas. I want to met Ron Haynes, who I helped. Well, me and Derek helped in the last season draft, and we wouldn't have met all these wonderful people if we didn't do this. So please reach out, communicate. I'll be around. I don't have as much on my plate as Axel, but I do have college, so I don't think I will see if I can try and continue this. If I can't, I can't. We'll see what we can do. But I will be here to help. I want to help. I still want to be part of the community. I still want to be part of the minor league. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're trying to give up on you guys, because if we had the chance, we'd still be doing this.
Dang family. Just kidding. But yeah, thank you all. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been sort of a labor of love, and it's sort of like a end of an era, feel. Um, but definitely, I see big things for the minor leagues. If it's not this, it will definitely be something else. I've honestly, this thought has been here, after last season. But I had been seeking other people who wanted to join or maybe take over. But I felt like also if I'm still sitting here doing this, nobody's going to see a vacancy and they're going to be like, oh, there's no need because we're still filling the need. So that's one reason that I'm also just taking leaning into that and sort of walking away so that there is a void that someone sees. Hey, I need to fill that, or hey, you and me, let's go fill that, or something like that. So that's sort of another reason why I'm just sort of doing this. There's a need there, and I hope you all feel this and that we've fulfilled that need, and either this continues and is fulfilling that need, or other things, or something else makes something else that fills that need. But I do wholly agree that there is something, the minor league does need to have its own thing, and whatever that is going to be awesome. So with that, yeah, rock it out. It's time. Let's celebrate. Woo woo. But yeah, I'm gonna play this music and we'll sort of leave this last words. Anything that you want to finish up and say, Daniel, Derek, Johnny, or Nicholas?
Well, I'll just say enjoy the draft once again. Enjoy the experience. If you guys need anything, minor leagues, anybody from the minors, my DMs are always open. I am Kelgate. Just DM me, talk to me. I'll be here throughout and into other minor league seasons. Just give me a message if you need help. I'm here to try and keep the community going in some sort of capacity. Not as much as we can right now, but in some way, I still want to fill that hole to help people.
Pause.
Same with me too. My DMs are open. If you guys need anything, if somebody does decide to take this show over, let me know. I can fill in as panelist if you need one. But yeah, enjoy the draft. Axel, you've been great with this whole thing, and I wouldn't be on the team right now if it wasn't for this. So
Angela says you gotta chug the syrup.
Chug it.
Wow, that's a lot of syrup. Holy cow.
Oh no.
That is definitely
Was
going
that
to
Super Troopers? Wasn't it Super Troopers? You gotta relax the throat. Oh, I just wanted to say too. If someone picks up this stream, there are multiple SFL shows, and I watch probably all of them. So if someone picks up the show and someone in the minors wants to create a second Twitch show, a YouTube show, a podcast, do it. They're fun to watch, and I'll watch multiple ones. So don't, if someone takes this over and you feel like you missed out, just create your own.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, that is the end of our show. Thank you all. Big ol' hearts out to everybody out there. And 48 hours until the big championship. And then we've got draft. And then we've got the holidays. Happy holidays to whatever you celebrate over that. I hope you get some time to relax and recoup. And then we'll see you all in the new year. I'm really excited. And yeah, let's have an amazing time. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good luck,
Have a good
everyone.
one.
Good luck.